Good afternoon, everybody. This is a special session of our technical assistance. We've got a lot of new things to cover. And so as we are going through this, we will talk about a whole lot of stuff in a whole short amount of time. So we'll get rolling. And just before the call started, we had a question from one of our providers about where to find the youth in the dashboard. And I am live in production right now. And what I want to let everybody know is that when a youth fills out the application, it filters to this DHS youth. So when you're looking for your new applications, and I'm going to look for New Original Ministries, and I'm going to filter for DHS youth. And when you see those applications, it will show up here in the list under application completed and submitted. And then when you enroll that youth, then you will look under your categories for where that participant has been enrolled to.
Okay,
So,
but when I
does
go,
that answer you?
well, when I go to where you are now and I click on the top where you see New Original Ministries, it's not there for me. It's New Original Ministries, Inc.
Okay, so I have to, let me make myself a note to add you to the other organization, and then I'm going to find out why I have two in there, but my programmer is off today. So
Okay.
I
just want to make sure I wasn't doing something wrong.
Yeah, I won't be able to fix this until tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm writing myself a note.
And those were the 3 kids that I did today. So I know now that I know that they're in there, but it was just on my end, New Original Ministries without the ink wasn't showing up.
Okay, all right, I'll get that fixed. I'll move any, I don't think there's any documentation in here, so there's no youth under New Original Ministries. So I'll make sure that you and send me an email with the other staff that needs to be added to the plain New Original Ministries.
Okay.
All right. And I got to show you all, this is my trick. My watch didn't plug or didn't charge overnight. So I've got my battery pack hooked up to my wrist. All right. So now let's continue on, and I'm going to minimize. Oh, I'm not. Okay. We want to talk about Employment 101, and I've had a ton of questions come in by email. So I want to show you guys what's shaken with this right now. So you have to have a career plan associated with your Employment 101 to have it count for DHS youth performance. You have to have the youth complete the Employment 101 as the DHS youth program. So when I click on my guide from Employment 101 and I go in, I need to make sure the pre-assessment doesn't matter. They can just take the pre-assessment. It will pick it up no matter what. But for the activities that they're going to be doing to count toward your performance, they have to be enrolled. And I know many of you used to have them do Employment 101 before they were enrolled in your program, which was fine then, but now we're counting it toward performance and we're automating a lot of the counting. So they have to be enrolled before they can do Employment 101 for all of the guide activities to count toward this. Now, I've asked many of you, or I gave all of you the opportunity to complete Employment 101 and then complete my feedback survey. We've made some updates. I sat with a few of you and went through it and got your like one-to-one feedback. I appreciate all of that, and we tried to make as many of those changes as possible. But what I do want to show you is that, and I don't have myself accessed to a different program, but if I go to the guide, and if I go to a step that requires me to complete an activity, I have the ability to change the career plan. So if it says Open Illinois WorkNet career plan, or track it to the Illinois career plan, and we got the other issue fixed, it was a programming glitch. So they should automatically start that program, but we want to make sure that they are enrolled in DHS Youth before you have them do the full career plan, so that it tracks toward your performance. If they need to change their career plan, you can do it here by selecting DHS Youth. So you might want to track through with them just on this first one, just to make sure that they're tracking to the DHS Youth. And it will only show Illinois WorkNet if they are not enrolled. So before I move on, are there any questions about that?
I've got one. This is
Yes, ma'am.
Sophie again. I had 3 kids today register in Illinois WorkNet, fill out the application, but I didn't enroll them yet. But they did the pre-assessment in Employment 101 and started the 8 activities. So that, will they have to redo it?
I don't think they'll have to redo their pre-assessment. And if it was that first activity where they do their CIS skills, I don't think that they'll have to redo that.
Okay.
But
all right.
don't have them get very far.
I stopped them.
Okay.
I stopped them.
All
okay,
right.
thank you.
Sure. Does everybody understand? Okay. I don't want the kids to have to redo this stuff. The one thing that you can do, and I have to follow up with my programmer that's working on this, to make sure that if you go in and change things to the new career plan, if it will count toward performance. And one of the things in here that I want to show you, if we return to the guide, see how it says 100% complete right here on mine? We have a tracker that we're adding to performance on Employment 101 that will automatically track what percentage of the guide they have finished. And that will automatically check and turn that piece green if they get 100% of the guide done. So in the past, you guys were having to verify that they were done with Employment 101. So now it's going to automatically do it. It may not do it today, but it will be doing it within the next 10 days or so. It will automatically make that change for you. It will automatically track Generation 1 or Generation 2, and until at least July 1, they can be good with either or. Okay, and somebody needs to mute your microphone because I'm hearing you talking. Okay. And then also in the overview page, I believe that we fixed where it will turn green now if they did complete it. Also, just to let you guys know, I was devastated when I found out that a youth was able to go to the pre-assessment and then take the post-assessment immediately afterwards. And then within 4 minutes, they were able to retake the post-assessment, did not do any of the guide. I was just devastated because I don't know about you, but when I pour 9 months of my life into a project, I want it to be successful. And so I talked to my programmer, and we are changing the way that the post-assessment shows the answers. You will no longer be able to see the correct answers. You will only be able to see the answers that were wrong. And then on the post-assessment, the wrong answers will still have the link to take you back to the section in the guide, Employment 101 guide, and then they can learn more and take their post-assessment over again after they've reviewed. The whole purpose of the Employment 101 is to help them gain skills that will help them gain and keep a job in today's workplace. And so for them to just go straight through and test out, it does not help them learn anything. And I understand that Employment 101 is probably a little bit more lengthy than the old process. And I've had a discussion with several of you about this, but the whole purpose is to teach them resources and to teach them how to find information or to do things that will help them be successful. So if you have questions or comments and would like to send me an email about that, I'm happy to address those things one-on-one with you. Okay, so now I've got a couple of comments in here. Let me take a look. Some youth have had issues when they start 101 because it asks them to choose a program, but the system does not allow them to choose one. And that has been fixed. And the issue of having them be enrolled will give them the option to choose DHS Youth career plan over the Illinois workNet career plan. And then Peoria says, can youth adjust their career plans themselves in order to complete the Employment 101 guide? Yes, again, they have to be enrolled to be able to select the DHS Youth. And you need to make sure that they're selecting the DHS Youth, or else somebody's going to have to go back in and recreate those goals and those steps in their career plan for the DHS Youth. Okay. Any other questions about what we've been talking about right now?
Yes, I do have a question, Dee. This is George.
Yes.
My understanding is when
Hey, wake up, man.
when they fill in the
Wake
application,
up. You like you
somebody
sleep.
needs to mute their line.
Hang on, George.
I am too. I'm under Mamie. You get my message?
So Mamie Myers, you need to mute yourself, please. All right, go ahead, George.
Okay, so when they enter their application there in DHS Youth, when they get enrolled, they usually move to category 2, 3, or whatever, and IYIP.
Right.
Are you saying that if they do Employment 101, they have to do that while they're in DHS Youth and not in the respective category?
No, sir. No, sir. That just means that the respective category for IYIP will fall under the DHS Youth career plan. I could not in any form or fashion ask my programmers to make me 6 different versions of a career plan. So they're all falling under the umbrella of DHS Youth.
But what you're saying is that they have to be enrolled and accepted in the program before you get credit now.
Correct.
Okay. And you're going to put a time frame in between when they can take the pre and post, because some kids were just taking the pre and the post right behind each other.
Well, and we're not putting that time caveat on there anymore. We've done something else to eliminate the ability for them to see, just to have open on the screen the correct answers and the right answers. And so they still have to think a little bit, they still have to read a little bit and reason a little bit to be able to get all the answers right on the post assessment.
Okay, because they were just blowing right through. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know. I trust me, I was heartbroken when I discovered that that was happening.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. All right. Let me, hang on, I gotta go back to my notes. For your program, for DHS Youth program, they have to complete the pre-assessment. They need to complete the guide, and then they have to take the post-assessment, and they have to score at least 70% to get that green check mark on their performance. Okay, do I need to show you guys where all that is showing in the performance?
Yes. And will that green kick in for those who had already done this, or just new folks?
It will be for everyone. Hey, how do you like the new look of our customer support center? This isn't in production yet, but what do you think about the colors and stuff? Do you like it? Yeah, good. I like it too. I think it's much more friendly. All right, so I'm going to go to a dashboard here. They only take the pre-assessment one time. It gives you a gauge of what they need to learn. It shows them the incorrect answers, and then they can work through that with their guide. And then within the guide, all the quizzes at the end of the sections give them the correct answers and the reasoning behind them when they are taking their quizzes. So they should, if they retain, they should be able to retain those correct answers for the post-assessment. Come on, test is going very slow today.
Hey, D, I have one last question about Employment 101.
Okay.
So, I have youth that started maybe in March, and for within the portal where the screen you are now, it says, yeah, the generation 1 and generation 2. So they have green circles for generation 1 because they did it back when it was, but going forward, they would need green in generation 2 and not necessarily both. They don't need it in both.
Right now, they only need one or the other. They don't
Okay.
need both.
Okay.
And one thing that I did notice is if a youth did complete generation 1 activities, that it wasn't tracking it. We still have all of that information in the system. So I have my programmer that happens to be off today. It's on his list to add generation 1 activities, and we'll try to pull that information in. It might not be quite as clean as the generation 2 because we actually programmed it to collect the percentage completed, but we didn't do that for generation 1. So we're iffy on whether we'll have full green or maybe an orange color in there, or brown, or something. Anyway.
Thank you.
All right. So then also on the progress page, under the performance measures, we will have under here where it has Employment 101, Generation 2, we'll also have the percentage, and we will be adding the same green piece for, let me make this a little bit bigger because I see Kate coming into the screen. we will be adding the same thing for the generation 1 as well. And then we have some plans in place so that here, right after this Employment 101, this is for the guide where it says not started. We have some stuff in place so that, as I said, they will have the percentage of the guide completed showing up here, and they will not turn green until it's 100%. And that will be pulled from the same way that we're pulling it in Employment 101. Okay. Camille asked me again near the end. All right, next thing that we're going to talk about here, so because I think I covered everything about Employment 101. So are we good with Employment 101 for now? The biggest thing that y'all have to remember is that they have to be enrolled for it to count here on the performance here. The overview page will be updated with Generation 1 activities, but I don't know exactly when. The progress page will also be updated with Generation 1 activities. So, LaDon, I think that answered your question. Okay. Carry over to where? Yes, we are working on, for the PPR, we are working on getting, that's why we're trying to automate all of these things. LaDon asked if the information will carry over to the PPR, and we're planning on having a report that will indicate whether or not the information has been completed. One of the things that we did on a customer's profile is we added steps in the career plan to track the activities for Employment 101 as well as this performance piece, so that those goals and steps can be completed as part of the DHS Youth Career Plan. So my hope is that when I get this tested, all of that information will pull in to an automated form of the PPR. I am not sure that you won't have to transfer that information, but my additional hope is that we'll be able to just print a screen, have you guys be able to print a screen and submit it to Nicole and Brandon. That may not happen right now, but we plan to try to have that happen by the end of Q1 of next program year at the very latest. I'm hoping to have it done by the end of Q4 for this program year. So say yay. Happy dance. Okay. Casey Life Skills, we have a whole mess of stuff going on with Casey Life Skills. So one of the things that I did to try to automate that piece as well was to add some steps for the career plan, and this will only show up automatically for brand new customers. So all of you who have just enrolled your category 1 people, this should automatically show up in their career plan. If you have not added them or not found them, you will be able to go to your resources tab. And I'm going to open this up in a new link. And remember, some of you may remember this easier than others, but if you remember, we had the discussion about adding services back in for your participants. And one of the things that you can do is, oh, come on, please work, is that you can go in and add all of the services that we're talking about right now onto your program's resources, services. So we go to the grantee details. And remember, I'm in test, and so I've got tabs that you might not be used to seeing, but you want to go to your grantee details. And you want to select your project. And sorry, this one still says CYEP. And select your provider if you have access to more than one. Otherwise, it should default to yours. And you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. And under services, you want to make sure that you have the services that are associated with Casey Life Skills. And then you want to make sure that you have the services associated with Employment 101. Now, for Employment 101, we had to use the existing goals and steps that were already associated with Employment 101, but we put them on the list. So if you remember, let me get here. If you remember our handy dandy, oh, I picked the wrong one. If you remember our handy dandy little list of pre-populated steps, you can go here to the guide and find, which I'm going to put the link in the chat. So you can actually open this up and then print it as you need to. So this document has all of the steps. So we have all of these ones here for Employment 101. You need to add these to your services that you provide so that all of your youth can have these. And then we have these steps right here for Casey Life Skills. So you need to make sure that these services are added to your list of services. And you do that here on the services so that you would look for any of these ones that say Casey Life Skills. And let me flip this around a little bit more. I'm not quite sure why that one is listed up there all by itself. So we've got 7 Casey Life Skills ones, and then you have to go back and look for all of these different ones that are part of the Employment 101. So you can print this list up. You know what? I think I just put that link in just to,
Where's
I
the
did send it
checklist?
out to everybody. So let me do that now. All right, so now you guys should have the link there and you can open that up and get this list printed off. So then as your youth, your new youth that just get enrolled will automatically have these steps associated with their career plan. Any of your existing youth prior to the end of April will need to have these things added to them if you want it to track for the PPR. Okay, any questions about that? Sam, yes, you're good? Okay. Okay, we also have some improved educational outcome steps that I've added. So if we look at these pieces right here, improved, yeah, come on, right there. Improved educational outcome. These are all things that also count on your PPR. Not all of them are required by participants, because if they have a GED or if they have a high school diploma, many of these things don't count for those youth. And the way that we're going to make this work is you will check a box on that progress page that says my youth has a GED or a high school diploma, and then you will upload that document. So you need to make sure that all of these steps are added to your youth's performance as well. And this all sounds like a boatload of work, but I'm also going to show you, we talked about this in the past, I'm also going to show you how you can use the services, the customer services report, to make sure that this is all on your youth, okay? Where was I? Okay, so I talked about KC Life Skills, I talked about improved educational, talked about Employment 101. Okay, so the next piece that we need to talk about is any questions about KC Life Skills or about improved educational outcomes? Speak now or wait till later. I won't say forever hold your peace because you know I always answer your questions. So on here, also under the grantee details, we have this piece working right now where if they have a diploma, so Ladon, let me finish this thought right here and then I'll come back to that, okay? If you put your scheduled participants in for this program year timeframe here, it will tell you how many people you will have. But for performance, they want it broken down by category. So this will tell you how many total people you need to look for in your system. Then what you'll have to do is you'll have to go to your dashboard and then filter by category. And if you want to get it for the particular program year, you would pick program year 2021. And then under advanced search, sorry, I fixed this. Under quarter, when we report the quarters, you're going to pick Q1, 2, 3, or 4. Your total for the year would have to be by IYIP category 1, 2, 3, or 4, but your Q1, 2, 3, or 4 will be able to pull the right information because the programmer already did fix this the other day when we had our other meeting. Q1 is July, August, September. Q2 is October, November, December. Q3 is Jan, Feb, March. And Q4 is April, May, June. Okay, so those quarter numbers are now available by quarter.
But wasn't the reporting only to be till March for the PPR?
So for the PPR, she wanted the Q to be Q3, but she needed extrapolated the whole total.
Gotcha.
Okay. Okay, so Peoria is asking, are the steps for the CLS in the career plan required or only to help us with tracking the performance for PPR? A little bit of both. And that's a very wishy-washy answer, but the youth, they need to take the KC Life Skills assessment. And then you need to write a plan for their life skills. And if that plan includes any of the 7, 8 steps that are associated, then yes, they need to complete those steps. If they mark evaluated not required, it will count as green for that, but you need to be able to prove that you evaluated and it wasn't required. And that would be by uploading the initial assessment and uploading your plan. And I've got a spot to show you for that as well. Okay. All right, so back to the performance for pulling those numbers. Are you guys good with sorting out by quarter and program year and agency? A couple of you give me a thumbs up or ask me your question if you're okay. All right. So, okay. Next on my list is upload categories. On a customer's profile, we have this tab right here that says uploads. This is going to be real important for a couple of pieces. So on here under the performance, we have to have a Casey Life Skills. On here, was the plan uploaded? Did they do the assessment? So those pieces are going to be tracked down here for improved life skills outcomes. So on this uploads tab, and this is on the youth uploads, not on your agency uploads, we're going to upload the files, and we have a couple of different categories here, and we're going to look for these particular uploads to give you a green or leave it red. So if you have the Casey Life Skills, that's what the CLS stands for, Casey Life Skills case plan, you need to upload that, tag it with this category, and then write your description. If it is the assessment, remember how way back when they take their full assessment, you write the summation in the description for the plan, I'm sorry, for the assessment, and then you upload the assessment, you would pick the CLS assessments. Additionally, so LaDon, you asked about, do we have to upload their diploma? You're going to redact any specific information other than their name, maybe email address, but then you would upload under educational documentation, you would upload that diploma or a GED, and then that way that automatically defers some of the pieces in the performance where they have to show improved attendance or improved grades. Those things wouldn't have to be tracked if they already have their diploma or GED. So LaDon, did that answer your question? And Peoria, did that answer your question about the CLS? All right, do we have any questions about this? Thank you, Peoria. Yeah, George, no, they're too big. There is a way if you take a picture, yeah, we just can't. Some of those pictures are 25 megabytes. We can't store those big of a document.
A lot of kids use their phone. They take a picture of their license. We had to try to convert it to PDF, and it was a lot of issues. So I was just wondering, could the system be able to receive a JPEG? You know?
Yeah, and we can't. We just can't. We can't take up our servers with that much space.
Okay.
Because we're already, remember, we cover the entire state and we have programs across the nation. So we'd need one server just for those JPEGs if we were going to do that. Can they sign an attestation until they are able to provide their diploma? They're probably going to be in the program long enough that you can get it and then upload it. I would find out what school district they went to and see if there is some sort of avenue for you to sign in, have the students sign in, because that's how we're going to be tracking homework improvement and attendance improvement, is being able to sign into their school district to see if they're finishing their homework and all that kind of good stuff. We'll have a whole webinar about that, so don't worry about that right now. But I don't think I'd worry about the attestation. That's just an extra step. I would just worry about getting a copy of the diploma. Tori says, are participants required to have the specific CLS case plan though? We were under the impression that participants were to have either the CLS case plan or the career plan in workNet. Is it enough to add? Okay, my understanding from speaking with, and I don't know if Brandon's on the call right now. Let me look and see. Brandon, you might want to chime in on this.
Yes, I'm here.
So my understanding from Carrie and Fran and Brandon is that the Casey Life Skills case plan is different from their career plan.
Right.
The career plan will put people back to work. Some of the components may be part of their career plan, but you actually need to have a written case plan. And that doesn't mean that you have to handwrite it. It just means that it needs to be uploaded as that case plan. So Brandon, follow me up, please.
The career plan is only job and career related. It's more focused in scope. And the case plan is much broader, and it includes everything, including job related employment goals, and case plan is everything, more all inclusive.
I thought if you didn't have stipend and if you didn't have subsidy, you didn't have to do a case plan. Wasn't it a situation where you didn't have to do a case plan, Brandon?
No, they all have to have a case plan.
George, you trying to get out of work?
No, I got it in my notes when we had the initial call. We talked about that when you were talking about case plan, and there was a situation where their case plan, career plan was very necessary, but the case plan, I thought it was optional. I need to find those notes and I'll talk to Brandon.
All right.
Yeah, the only thing, the category 1 employment don't necessarily have to have a career plan, because that's more long-term, and category 1 is short-term, the summer employment, but they still need a case plan.
And the youth that are working, their career plan may just be workplace experience or worksite experience. That might be the extent of their career plan.
Pete, can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever had participants who've entered the program who never have an actual job, but wind up getting a case plan and doing all the other elements of the program, like the social emotional development, life skills development? Has that ever been a situation in which a youth just was never able to be placed in an employment piece, but remained in the program and got other benefits from it?
Not with this program, but yes, in others.
In others, okay.
So they might be the younger one. They might have an IEP in school. They might,
Right.
There might be some other extenuating circumstances that prevent them from actually being able to work, at least this year. So, but some of those pieces are actually in the career plan, because if they do Employment 101, or if they are doing their life skills, they'll end up with a career plan, because all of those pieces are now services in the career plan.
But just in a whole, if they have their case plan, even if they have their career plan, it's okay still if we have one or two that don't actually ever get placed in a job because of those circumstances you just referred to?
Brandon?
Yes. Is it okay? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, is it okay if they have a career plan and a case plan, but they actually never get placed at a work site due to some of those extenuating circumstances?
Yes.
Okay, thank you both.
Especially the past 14, 15 months.
Right, that's part of it too. Just was curious. Thank you very much.
Yes, no problem.
D. George, is there a case plan template somewhere in the system, or is there a session that we have that will be how to create a case plan, how to create a career plan? Is there any training somewhere for that specifically?
Well, the career plan piece, there is,
I saw that video.
video.
I saw that video, yeah.
The case plan is more or less a written document. So I would take the 7 or 8 different pieces, I can't remember exactly how many, that come out of that assessment, that CLS assessment. And I would write what your intentions are for each of those steps.
Okay.
Does anybody have a template that they're using? I believe that there was a template that was issued with the training, and this could be down in my chat. So if you guys want to put that in there, I could have sworn I put something up on here.
I believe that, because I swear we have a notebook too that has it in it, but that with the Casey Life Skills, it almost talked to you about how to create a case plan based off of Casey Life Skills and using the components from there. And I don't remember where we got it, but I think I downloaded off of something on here, Dee.
And I know that somebody sent me one. So I just have to find it and I will upload it to this page. But if one of you actually has a link to one and can put it in the chat, that would be super duper. And then, okay, so any other questions about Casey Life Skills? All right, moving on. Luis Martinez from Public Image Partnership said you can always screen clip an email picture and convert it to PDF. So I've got a couple of tools on my computer. One of them is called Snip and Sketch. That's on a Windows-based document, and you can snip and sketch. Make a new one of whatever. So I'm going to snip this. And I believe that you can save it as, no, you can't. All right. But so I can save it as an image, but then I can open up Adobe and save it as a PDF. Ladon says some youth are several years out of high school, so I envision it may take some time. Yep, I believe you. Tori says she remembers something about that as well. George, I'm assuming that we're talking about the case plan, career plan piece. Peoria asked, is there a template for the case plan? We'll see what we can do to find that. We do a CLS case plan, including career goals, and upload it as both. The case plan has to be uploaded and labeled as such. If it includes career goals in it, that's wonderful, but the career plan is done in Illinois workNet. So on Illinois workNet, the career plan is right here. And there are steps and services associated with goals within the career plan. And that's what we will be checking to see if something is successfully completed or unsuccessfully completed, as to whether or not your performance is managed properly. So Luis, I don't know if that answered your question. You document the case plan in written format and upload it what I showed you earlier. And then there are several steps that can be added. So this CLS self-care, the different ones that are labeled CLS would need to be added to older students. If you're just enrolling somebody, they will automatically be added and they'll show up on here with a goal for the Casey Life Skills Plan. I also saw in the PPR that they are asking for info on participants retaking CLS. Is this a requirement? And if so, what is the expected time frame between assessments? Brandon, I don't know the answer to that one.
I would say it would really vary on the youth and how they do on the initial assessment. How much time in between.
Well, and honestly, isn't the initial assessment just to tell you where you need to go from there?
Yes, and back to like that case plan template, I'm pretty sure it's been a long time. It was before COVID when I took the training, but with Casey Life Skills, they have their own template. And I thought that as soon as you took the assessment, it takes you directly into making a case plan, developing a case plan off the results of your assessment.
No, I don't think it takes you directly to how to make a case plan. But during the training, they did tell us about how to make a case plan, and then they also provided a template. And I was also looking for that template, but I haven't been able to get my hands on it. But whoever did the training, that's who we would need to reach out to for that.
Okay, and I can reach out to that trainer, or there's 2 trainers I know of.
And I've got a few documents here in my Casey Life Skills folder, but I don't think any of them are the template. I know I got an email from one of them as well that gave me so let me look and I'll make sure that we get it posted up here. All right. Fanny says that we asked the youth to use Genius Scan or Cam Scanner app that will convert the picture to a PDF. And that is in the chat. If you, so George, if you want to look for that one, Fanny put it in at 2:21, so just a few minutes ago. Understood also to convert to PDF from screen clipping, you can click the print button when pulling up the image and there should be an option to convert to PDF. Yeah, that works, Louise, that works if you have a PDF tool on your computer. Not everybody does.
Hey, Dee.
Hey.
Hi, this is Brittany from Prairie Public Schools. So I looked in my email and there is a learning plan template that we got from Casey Life Skills. I think Sarah was going to try to put it in the chat to see if that is what we can use. It is based off of the results from the Casey Life Skills assessment. And it's pretty much a fill in the blank. It's obviously you can like type in it and you just put the student's name and then check which area the plan is for. And then it gives you spots for the goals.
All right, I'm opening that up right now. So give me a second and let me get it into the right folder. Thank you for finding that. And let me pull this up. This is what I was looking for. I knew I had this in email somewhere, so I was looking for this. So I will get this uploaded to the resources page, but this is how you can write a plan. And you can add more goals in here if you need to.
A case plan, that is?
This is the case plan.
Good, excellent. Can we get that in the chat?
It's in the chat. It's in the chat. Let's see. Michelle or Mikkel Kazada from
Michelle.
Children's Home and Aid posted it.
I also included another link with a lot of other resources that ICOI shared.
Okay, great, great, great. I've got a number of those. I will try to get them all posted. So say how do you say your first name?
It's Michelle.
Michelle, okay, all right. Just from the name, I can't tell if somebody's a he or a she, so I wasn't sure how to say it, so thank you. Oh, and Peoria Public Schools posted it, so it's in there twice, George. And then Michelle also posted the link.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you.
We take care of you. All right, I think,
That.
let me see here. I'm trying to go back in the chat to make sure I didn't miss anything. Out of school, template, goals, career plan tab. You upload the case plan. We talked about that one. Genius scanner, screen clipping. Okay, I'm sorry if I missed this, but does the career plan to youth complete in Employment 101 tracked for PPR or in the plan staff creates with appropriate services? Employment 101 will be tracked in both places. It will be tracked in for their plan, and then there are steps associated that will get started as they're doing their Employment 101, and then you just have to finish them. So I wish I had a new student in here to show you, but let me add a goal. One of the steps for Employment 101 is a resume. I believe it's this one, but you'll have to check your list for sure. But on the customer's plan, they will, as part of their Employment 101, they will make it started open. They will add it to a goal, and it will be one of these goals that will be already associated with it. They'll put in a start date. They will put in a planned due date and how many hours, and then they will update the customer service. Oh my, bad, bad, bad. So then that will, you just have to finish those goals that I showed you on the list. The pre-populated steps list for, you just have to make sure that those are all completed. And these don't necessarily track to the PPR, but as they're completing their Employment 101, you probably want to do a lot of these things anyway, because it's applying for jobs, preparing for an interview. It's all simple things that they probably should be doing with you anyway. All right. CLS doesn't take the participant to the section to make a case plan. So Tracy said that. We have the link. The learning plan template was sent by Leslie after Casey Life Skills Training. So you might want to look for an email from Leslie Ross. No, Leslie What's Leslie's last name?
Yes, I believe it's RESS, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct. It is RESS.
Right.
And
Tracy,
D-
you would be filling out the Casey Life Skills Plan, probably with the customer's input. I mean, you need to have a discussion with the client, the youth, about this. Career plan, some of the steps will be created in Employment 101 for the career plan, but not all of them. And if they're a brand new customer, those items will pre-populate. The link is asking me to sign into Microsoft Office. I will make sure that there's a PDF up on the partner guide, Bernard, so that you can just get it from there. We've been uploading our own case plan. You might want to go back and just re-upload it and select that category, Evelyn, just so that we know that it's categorized properly. Sam says that Leslie's last name is Reese. Okay. Woo. I've got, looks like 3 more things to talk about right now. So hang with me, folks, hang with me. On the customer progress, under their evaluation, this is so Tori just asked me if they need to re-upload the document. I don't think that you can categorize an existing upload. So you will probably need to just re-upload the document to put the category on it. Under the verify initial eligibility, we have this new step and it is required. We are leaving this open for any existing customers so that you guys can go in and fix this. So if they live in Illinois, that's the only way they can be in the program, is if they live in Illinois full-time, not just college students. You're going to go in and pick their county. So it might be Cook, or it might be DuPage, or it might be Fayette, or whatever county they live in. If you pick Cook County, you will be asked to add the township that they live in. If you pick Cook Chicago, you will be asked to pick what community they live in. So I need you guys to go back and to tap into this for each of your PY21 youth so that we can get some accurate data for this year's participants. And this is going to stay unlocked until at least next program year. So that's a task that we need you guys to do. If you've got somebody in your organization that helps you with paperwork, this might be a good time to enlist their assistance. And then, okay, so now we talked about an easy way to make sure that you have all of these steps on your youth. One of the things that you can do is make sure that one youth is completely filled with all of the steps and services that are associated. So if you have a brand new youth that just started this week, that's going to be your test person. Peoria, correct. You do need to go back, at least for your PY21 people, and add their county. And yours is just going to be county because I think it's Peoria County. So you don't have to do the community or township. So under your reports, so it's the thing that looks like a bar graph. And I remember Camille asked about something with work sites. So make sure you type that question back in, please, so I can come back to that because I'm almost ready to do that. We want to go to the customer services report. And I did do a webinar on this before. So I'm going to try and go slow enough so that you guys can see this. You have to pick your project. So again, it's going to say DHS Youth in Production. Your agency will pop up. And then you want to look at all of it. And so then you filter. And what will happen is your youth who have just started your program, they will have all of the steps. So an easy way to catch everybody up to have these steps is to make sure that in here, you've got one person that has all of the steps. So at least one person. Then what you do is you click on the number over here to the right-hand side that says total customers without a step or service. You click on this 48. And in that 48, I would suggest that you filter by program year. So July 1 of 2020 to today's date. Yes. Okay, so then what you can do, you can add it to their career plan, but my suggestion would be is to, if they started it, start and a date, enter started, opened, and a date, and go through and add it to everybody who has that step or needs that step. So if I go up here and if I pick and I pick and I filter, that's right now, that's my program year right now. And so then I get these students who are part of this. And if they maybe left and never did anything with us, I might say unsuccessful completion, or I might say evaluated, not required. It is supposed to not ask you for a date for evaluated, not required. So I would make sure that you do all of those together. And if you are being asked for a date on this, I need one of you, whoever's going to try and do this right away, let me know if you do get asked for a date. But otherwise, this is going to be started. You put in a date that they started it. Maybe it was August 2. You can put in more dates if you need to, but I would suggest that you do started and get all of those started ones in here, and then go through. And if it was an unsuccessful completion, so you can put in multiple items in here, and it's a way to get everybody caught up for those steps that need to be added. Do I need to explain this any better?
Can I just ask a quick question with regards to the start date?
Sure.
Are we looking at the day they started the career plan, the day they started their application in Illinois WorkNet? What are we looking at when we're talking about start date?
I would say start date would be the day they started their career plan. or that particular piece of their career plan.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions about this?
D, is the session gonna be recorded on YouTube, this session? 'Cause
It is recorded. I am recording it and I will post it.
Okay, because I got staff that need to see this.
Okay,
D, I have a question. On this screen, if you don't fill in all the required information for every one of the persons on the list, it doesn't save. Is that something that can be changed?
yes, you can change dates. Like if you
No.
get to the,
No, I'm saying that, let's say you completed all information for 1 or 2 people on this list. If you try to get out of it, it won't save the information for those 2 people.
it won't.
Yes, so you have to enter every one of them, otherwise it won't. It will not.
Okay, this is new information for me. So let me double check this. Let me try right now. Oh,
You see that?
well, hang on.
Mhm.
If you start somebody, you have to finish them. But you don't have to put in everybody else. So what I had not added the weekly hours for a person that I had started over here.
Okay, so can you go back to where you had the original number, which was like 48? You click on 48 to get to this screen. I want to see if that has changed.
It's down to 46.
Okay,
So you do have to finish the information for, and if you notice, I have one that started and one that's unsuccessful. I do need to know from somebody, remember, I do need to know from somebody if it is asking for the evaluated, not required dates. And if it is, don't move forward because it's not supposed to. Okay? I need to have my programmer fix it. Okay, so now I wanted to pull a complete report of work site we've entered, but I get an error message. All right, let me get to work sites and see. Is the document you shared earlier in this meeting a comprehensive list of all services required to be on the career plan? Tori, are you asking about this list? All right, these are the pre-populated steps for new customers, the improved educational outcomes, the employment 101 pieces, and the Casey Life Skills Plan are new. So those are the ones that need to be added. Okay. Dominic, I got to get back to you. So keep that question. I may have to have you open up. Okay, so Camille is asking, are you able to walk us through uploading employer worksite MOU? Are you talking about the document that you need to upload to your agency uploads?
Yes, Dee.
Okay. All right. So now on your, I have too many tabs open. All right. So from the resources folder, you go to that page and you won't see ISETs and you won't see ENT programs. You should see file uploads. You should see grantee details, and you should see training programs.
Yes.
All right, so you go to the file uploads. And I'm getting a database error, but you should go to file uploads. You need to select your program. and your agency filter, and then you would just click this upload file and oh, I need to add another category here. I need to add agency documentation. Okay, so give me some feedback while I'm here. Would MOU, what else do you need for agency documents? Would MOU be a good category? Or
MOU would be fantastic.
all right, and then what else do you guys, we need to upload training document. So how about staff training as a category?
So here we use the worksite agreement, the MOU for employer, and then we use a agreement with educational institutions since we have category 3.
Yeah.
And what I'm noticing is when I try to upload the MOU for employers where we've had them in the past, the staff is having a hard time differentiating between a past MOU where the job description may have been different from last year to this year. So we can't take them out because we have participants attached to the past ones. So it's confusing which one to select, or if it's multiple positions at an employer site.
Okay, so I'm talking about the category right away. Okay, so the category we need MOU, contract, because you guys have to upload your agency contracts.
Yes.
You need to upload staff training documents. So that would, the contracts and the MOUs would take care of the educational institution and the work site placements, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's add those 3 categories to this. And then in your description, Camille, in the description, you need to put, like, if it's not in the name of the document, you need to put a description of what is that document.
Okay.
Because that's the only way Alana's going to know what it is if she's looking at it and you aren't.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so does that make sense to everybody? Kate?
Yeah, Dee, since we're talking about MOUs and contracts right now, can I just pose a question to the group? Since a lot of the people on here are kind of new like us, I didn't know if anyone had an example, like we were talking about case plan examples. I didn't know if there was kind of a standard MOU or contract that people have been working with their work sites that we've been using one we made on our own, but I'm not quite sure we're covering everything that might need to be covered if you've done this program before and have a little bit a better understanding of how that should work. Didn't know if anyone might have an example they'd be willing to provide.
Does anybody have an LWIA MOU contract that you are using at all?
It's a MOU template on Illinois WorkNet. I just had to do the same for my organization, and I downloaded it last like Friday or Thursday.
Is it on my page?
I know you could go in and insert names in people and information as you see fit. So it's kind of like a copy and paste type thing. You can fill in the blanks with your organization's name.
All right, let me find it. I'll put it on this partner page.
Thank you all. Thank you, Dee. Please don't be mad at me.
And just to clarify, Dee, the worksite agreement or MOU is only required for categories 3 and 4, correct?
No, I would get an MOU agreement for any body where you are placing a subsidized youth. Any place where you're placing a subsidized youth. Brandon?
Okay, I get that, but on the NOFO, if I recall correctly, it was only required for categories 3 and 4.
No, it's required for all 4 categories, but like Dee said, it's only required for subsidized employment And in the NOFO, it says that it's recommended for non-subsidized, but it's not required. It's only required for subsidized. And it also, in the NOFO, it tells the sort of information you need in your worksite agreement.
We use the worksite agreement for our for the subsidized employment experiences, but the MOU, when I've started dealing with community colleges and higher learning institutions, they are the ones want the MOU as opposed to a worksite agreement because they doing training. Well, we in the category that we paying for training in registered and unregistered apprenticeships.
Okay, so yeah, that would be categories 3 and 4.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, I get it. Okay. So worksite agreements are for those subsidized youth. MOUs are for education. And you might have an MOU with an employer, and Camille, you said it's on my page right here. I don't see that MOU.
I was doing some research. I've been on a couple of different sites between IDHS, Illinois WorkNet, but I found it on Illinois WorkNet.
All right, I will find it. I know we've got one on there. I will find it and put it on this.
Yeah, or did I Google it? I know I found it on Illinois WorkNet. Because I just had a meeting with my directors this morning and I showed them the document. So,
all right. So, Dominic, I wanted to pull a complete report of worksite we've entered, but I get an error message. Yeah, there is there's a problem, and we know that there's a problem with the worksite placement report. Let me get on that one again. Worksite placement report error. Okay, I will get on that again. I apologize. We need 10 programmers because I need 2 and every other program needs 2 programmers because, you know, they get sick, they go to the doctor, they have babies, you know, life happens. Okay, Thanalee says we have experienced glitches in the started mode. Plan not started. Our coaches would put a started plan date. However, they would come back weeks later. I would see plan not started. Coaches will re-enter start date. Thanalee, if you can find somebody specific, send that to me in an email so that I can try to see what's happening. Because I have to be able to replicate something for my programmers to be able to fix it. Okay, I think I got everybody's question. I think, maybe.
Hey, Dee, I have a question. This is Mary.
Okay.
We're having some kids that come back and their addresses change. They're not able to update their address by going into the profile page from the dashboard.
In the application or in the?
Yeah, because we tried the application and to update their profile.
So update application address in profile. All right, this is like programming 202 here, but we've got a database for Illinois WorkNet profiles and we've got a database for DHS youth profiles. So I've got to talk to a third programmer to make sure that those are syncing to get those addresses changed. The best time to try to do it is when they're completing the application. But I can try to get it updated after the fact.
Here's another question. I'm just, so we should be, if they were in last year's program, the CS CSYEP. So now they come back this summer, they're coming through the IYIP.
Yes.
Okay. Shouldn't we just be changing the program type, or do you want to add another record?
We need to close them out of CSYEP because we need those subsidized days to close out.
Okay.
Because IYIP gives them a new 90 days.
Okay. All right. So now we close them out. We have to close them all the way out, and then they have to reapply.
Yes.
Okay.
But their application will have the information that was already on that other application. And so then they can make corrections and just update. It might be the same stuff. So they can just go boop and they're done.
Okay, so, all right, I'm getting confused. So now they open up, they're gonna go to CYEP apply.
Yes.
Okay, now when they do that, there should be a problem. There's a problem because of the email address already assists.
The email address is already associated with their, so what you have to do is you have to know what their username is. So before you close their file, you know, like before you close the window, let me show you. Okay, so if I go to Rick Elliott and I look at his profile here on his progress page, and you can get this even if you've already closed them out. So if you go to their progress page, actually you can go to any of the pages, but you write down their username. So their username is Rick Elliott. Then you go down here and you click on this reset password. And you give them a password, like I give you all password with a capital P, 2021. That's what I give you when I reset a password. So reset that password to whatever that is that you decide to pick. It might be Angel of God 2021. And then when they log in, they'll use this username, that password that you gave them. And then when it asks the question, do you already have an Illinois WorkNet account? They'll say yes. They'll log in with that username, the reset password, and then they'll be asked to change their password to something that they want it to be.
That would bring up their application.
Yes.
And then at that time, they can change their address. And then we have to re-verify them and all that. Okay. All right.
Now, that's assuming that they are not associated with a different agency that was never closed out.
Okie dokie. Okay.
Okay. So Camilla says in Appendix J in Illinois WorkNet under WIOA partner tools, it is a fillable form. Oh, look at that. And Camille, is that the same link that Camilla put up there? Do you think? Download and print. Download and print is where I was going to find it. So I'll look for that. But we want an MOU and a worksite agreement. Now, in that worksite agreement, you need to make sure that it doesn't reference WIOA. So we need to check that. All right, Mary, were you done? Okay.
Until I think of something else.
Oh, sure. All right. LaDon's asking if a youth's assignment to a work site wasn't entered via their career plan, what's the best way to remove and enter properly via the career plan? If they had payroll uploaded, you can't. If they didn't have any payroll added, you can remove it. So if you go to their worksite placement, and if you see no payroll down here, you can remove that placement and then go into the career plan and upload it. Impact if payroll has already been, okay. If it's already been uploaded, if the payroll is already there, I need to have the payroll removed, and a programmer has to do that. And then you can remove the youth, and then you can re-enter the job in the career plan and then re-upload the payroll. So it's more complicated if you do it the wrong way to begin with, but we can get it fixed. It's not impossible. Sam's saying, so LaDon, did that answer your question? Oh my God, I've got 10 new messages down here. How do you get around needing a new email address? Sam, did I answer that question from Mary?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
Okay, cool. It says page not found when I select. I have a feeling this worksite agreement has an underscore in there. I will find it and I will put it in the thing. Can one access that if, what? Can one access that if they aren't a WIOA partner? Oh, LaDon, you were typing screwy. You got to re-ask that question. If they aren't a WIOA partner. Okay. Let me, the link that Camille, okay, so give me 1 second. I'm going to go to download and print, and I'm going to find this, and I'm going to just fix the page right now. So give me a second so that I can get myself together. If you guys need to type in questions, go ahead and type them in. We're on a marathon session here, ladies and gentlemen. And did everybody fill in the poll? Because I'm going to end it right now. I think so. All right, I can't find this as quickly as I thought, so I will get this posted yet today. I will promise you that I will get this posted yet today. Okay. Any other questions? Are you able to show us how to run the report to get the numbers asked for in the PPR? No, because we don't have it built yet. I can show you how to find customers, but we don't have the report built yet. So if you want me to show you how to find the customers, I can do that. You're welcome, LaDon. Information on Illinois WorkNet. Not this quarter, not for Q3. This time around, you're going to have to find it We hope that we have it all squared away by the time it's due for July 1, because that will be Q4. All right, anybody else? I'm tired of talking. Anybody else?
Hey, D, just to ask again. So since we're category 1 and majority of our participants will be new, so then we enroll them first and then all the pre-assessments, everything afterwards.
Correct.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I do have a question if Brandon is still on the line.
Let me look.
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hey, Brandon. Now, you know you slipped
Hi.
out on us on that PPR. Didn't nobody know what to tell us. So are you gonna, are you
No, I
gonna
went back and listened to the recording. It was pretty good.
I need to know, are you gonna have a special session with us on how to complete that PPR?
I agree 100% with that.
Okay, see that? Everybody say, raise your hands.
Me too.
All right,
Yes,
Brandon.
Brandon. Yes, Brandon.
So
Me
Brandon, do you want a majority of the meeting on the 18th? When is the PPR due by?
June 1st.
June 1st.
Okay, so do you want a majority of the meeting on the 18th, or do we want to have another special? Well, the 18th is just next week. Do you want to have the majority of the meeting next week?
Yeah, let's plan for that because the continuation apps are due on the 26th, and that's going to take all my time once that happens. And then between 26th and June 1st is going to be tough to get everybody's questions answered and everything.
Yeah, I think we're on a really tight time crunch here.
Well, is it any way that it can be pushed back as far as the due date of the PPR, since that came late and all this is due at the same time? Could you negotiate getting the PPR pushed back maybe to the 15th or something? That would give everybody a little more time.
George, you're just not going to be able to sleep between now and then.
I know it's so much.
I'm with George.
So much wasn't going on for a long time. Then you hit us with everything due like right now. We're trying to get the continuation app in, trying to get the PPR done. Get all this updated. That's quite a bit in a short time frame. Are they flexible at the department with any of the date being moved back?
I can definitely ask if I mean there won't be any flexibility on the continuation app. That's going to be May 26th.
Oh, yeah,
but
no
the
doubt, no doubt. Yeah, I understand.
The PPR is possible. I will certainly ask about the PPR. I don't know if they'll do the 15th, but I'll ask if it can be moved back at all.
Okay, that'll be good. And Brandon, how are we handling students that may still be with us transitioning to the continuation? There any funds related to them will just be charged on the new grant, like if someone hasn't been placed or they got fired and came back, or we're still trying to get them hired. We just don't cut them off, right? We still want to push and get them employment. So we over, or how we do that? The student, the youth client, or we just supposed
as far as their subsidized days?
Not even doing subsidy or any of that. Just as far as the outreach and working with them to get them placed, or are we supposed to just give up on them and close them out because the grant ends?
No, not at all. No, the contract year ends, but that doesn't do anything to the youth. It just goes by the category they're in, and the limit is just the maximum subsidized days.
Okay, so activities can still take place in relation to that.
Right, definitely, yes.
All right, very good.
Okay, Bernard is my new kid on the block. He probably was more of a, oh wait, what's that other one? What's the other boy group? We had Backstreet Boys, New Kids on the Block, and
NSYNC.
NSYNC. Okay. All right. So anyway, so Bernard's one of my one of my boy band group guys. So, okay, so then we've got, he asked, and we'll try to, oh, new edition. That's who I was thinking about, was the new edition. Okay. So he asked the question about the process flow. And so he wrote this out pretty nicely, and I'm going to say yes or no to this. It's in the chat near the end. It says prospective enrollee applies to DHS youth program through that link, and that is correct. The prospective enrollee sets up an Illinois workNet account as they are doing the application. So it's two separate steps, but the workNet application is first, and then the youth application is second. And then during the application for the youth program is when the youth selects the DHS youth program that they want to participate with. So you need to make sure that you're saying, pick this organization, have it in big letters right in front of where they're going to go, whatever directions you're giving them. Have them write down their username, have them write down the password that they select, write down the organization for them so that they pick the right one, because that's the biggest problem. One of the biggest problems is they either don't do either of the applications, or they pick the wrong organization, or they're still enrolled someplace else. That's their three boo-boos. Then the potential prospective enrollee completes the pre-assessment. No, you're doing the application is actually their initial piece, and then you have to verify the eligibility. You, as the agency, completes their career plan. The youth completes Employment 101, Casey Life Skills, the assessment. They complete a lot of the stuff that you guys have to have them do within Employment 101. But you guys have to do their career plan with them, and you need to verify their eligibility. So I think, Bernard, does that answer your question? All right. Anybody else have any other questions? Can I be done, please? Thanks, Toby. All right. Okay, so on the 18th, Brandon is going to talk about the PPR and how you guys have to fill it out. And we'll talk, he and I will talk before that. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to send them to me, and I will try to answer them as best I possibly can. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Dee.